Welcome in on this Thursday morning. I'm Janae Hancock here at the live desk, joined by Taylor Johnson. Taylor, how's it going?
It's going good. Happy Thursday. The newsroom is bustling. There's
I know.
A lot of energy today.
A lot of people walking in with their coffee cups ready to go. It is also Travel Thursday.
Yes,
I almost said Travel Tuesday. We don't want to go back. So it is definitely Thursday. And we do have a press conference that we are waiting for. It is set to get underway in just a few minutes. We are waiting for officials to not take to the podium. It's just a mic sitting out there. This is near 43rd and Main Street, just by the Country Club Plaza. So it is supposed to be regarding the implementing the transit-only lanes for the KC Streetcar system. We are expecting to hear from officials like Mayor Quentin Lucas, as well as City Manager Mario Vasquez, and council members as well from the 4th and 5th District and the KC Streetcar Authority Executive. So I know there's a lot of excitement as well as a lot of questions regarding the KC Streetcar. So hopefully we can get those questions answered today.
Yeah, recently I had a visitor in town and we were down in the plaza area and we saw the streetcar. Of course, it wasn't in operation because it said out of service, but you know, it's really nice to have the idea that you can go from downtown all the way to the area of UMKC and not have to drive your car. So I'll be curious to see what updates they have to give.
No, for sure. And just confirming that this is on the southwest corner of 43rd Street and Main Street. So again, we are waiting for officials like Mayor Quentin Lucas to take to the mic and bring us or start this press conference. And I know that the mayor also released a video on social media just a few days ago regarding the extension, the opening there that is set for October 24th. So I know that that's also very exciting. And I know they are rushing to get that done ahead of the World Cup come next year. So.
And there's a lot of cities that, well, let me not say a lot. Let me speak on what I know.
Yeah.
I know that Omaha is actually in the process of starting their own streetcar route. That's the market that I just came from. And they use Kansas City as an example and just the success that it's had here. So even just the influence that having a streetcar is creating in other parts of the Midwest has been really cool to see.
No, it is a big deal. I know I'm from Denver, and I know that we have one out there. We've had one, I want to say, pretty much my entire life, for as long as I can remember. But it's very convenient, and it's also a huge attraction in so many cities to just be able to have that conveniency. So it looks like there is a podium. Again, we're just waiting for officials to take to it and get that press conference started. And you know what, Taylor, as we wait for them to get started, let's tap in with our news headlines and then come back to this press conference. So I do know, as far as your news headlines, we covered this early this morning. Taking a look at your screens now, if technology will work with me here.
Technology loves to
do
what it
what? And it's not Monday, it's a Thursday, but there it goes. It is now working. So higher taxes for families in Platte County. That is what's on the table after the State Tax Commission ordered the county to raise assessments by 15% across the board. That's not sitting well with some leaders. And KCTV5's Morgan Rydell, she has that story for us this morning.
I'm Morgan Rydell here in Platte County, where leaders received an order from the Missouri Tax Commission to raise property values 15%. This comes after the Tax Commission says schools here are not funded appropriately due to undervaluations that happened back in 2023. Leaders here are pushing back. They're seeking legal advice, even calling on the governor for help. They'll be hosting a press conference tomorrow at 10 a.m. to give some updates.
All right, that was Morgan Rydell.
It's closed.
And now let's turn to another story that really caused a stir yesterday. So some families in our community, they're waking up on edge this morning after ICE raided 2 Metro businesses in the last 24 hours. The raids targeted both El Toro Loco locations, one in Lenexa, the other at the Legends in KCK. Federal immigration enforcement agents, they did arrest nearly half a dozen employees. KCTV5's Nathan Brennan is in Lenexa from the El Toro Loco at that location.
Good morning, I'm Nathan Brennan at the El Toro Loco Mexican restaurant location in Lenexa. I want you to go ahead and take a look here at the front door. You can see several signs. Now, the first one I want to point to is this closed sign from the inside. Yesterday, federal agents came to this location. Federal agents from the Homeland Security's investigations team came to this location, shut down the store, and actually arrested 4 to 5 workers here on site. As you can see, there are several signs from the community showing their support and really anger and frustration towards this raid. We spoke to several witnesses here on scene that actually said that it was inappropriate, and they said that it never should have happened in the first place. Now, we did reach out to the Homeland Security investigations team to find out why this location was specifically targeted. They said that they could not provide any information. Now, we are still trying to figure out a little bit more of those details, but we do know that 4 to 5 workers were arrested at this location. El Toro Loco also has a location in the Legends area in KCK. We spoke to an immigration's attorney. They say that 7 other workers were arrested at that location as well. We do not know if this location will reopen. We do not know if that KCK location will reopen. Of course, there are several more questions that we are hoping to hear from the Homeland Security investigations team. So as always, you can follow us on air and online for any of those updates.
And moving along with your news headlines this morning, we are continuing to honor the ultimate sacrifice. Last night, a big crowd showed up for a candlelight visual to remember fallen Wyandotte County Sheriff's Deputy Elijah Ming. KCTV5's Betsy Webster was at the county courthouse while his colleagues, friends, and family remembered him as a man who lit up a room with a smile.
We've been showing you images of Deputy Ming's patrol car, but if you look at it now, it is covered with so many flowers, balloons, that you can hardly see the patrol car. The memorial service here brought out hundreds of people. We learned more about Ming and his family from those who paid tribute. His mother died less than 2 weeks before he did from cancer. She saw his 2-year-old son, Elijah II, baptized right before she died. His nickname is Deucey. The family pastor choked up. His former teacher spoke from the heart as well.
We may not understand the why, but we do know that God called another amazing servant home. I know that his presence will live on in his son.
Wyandotte County, Kansas City, our nation, we need a cultural shift. And maybe, just maybe, Elijah's passing will spark a change that his living prepared us for.
The service concluded with an emotional performance of Amazing Grace with verses specific to law enforcement killed in the line of duty, performed by Lee Summit police officer Nathan Cantrell. You can watch that and the entire memorial service on KCTV5's Facebook page and on KCTV5 Plus from the stream we did of the service. In Kansas City, Kansas, Betsy Webster, KCTV5 News.
Gosh, still such a sad story. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family and the community that loved Officer Ming. Right. Well, let's turn to Kearney, Missouri. This is a pretty scary situation here. So a woman and 2 children are safe but recovering after they hit a tree on the highway. You see it there, and they were dangling over a pond. This is what first responders found off of Highway 92. But the woman and the kids were still inside. Investigators believe the woman suffered a medical episode while driving. She was taken to a nearby hospital, and the good news, she is expected to be okay.
That is amazing news. Another story that is just unfortunate, though, however, taking a look at this video here on your screen, a senior citizen center in Kansas had to temporarily shut down after a major theft left it without air conditioning. The executive director for La Familia Senior Center in Wichita says in June, the crooks stripped the copper from 2 AC units and stole a third outright. The thieves left thousands of dollars in damage. Dr. Carla Lee says that the nonprofit had to close last Wednesday through Friday due to extreme heat. The center closed again on Monday and Tuesday of this week, and Lee says hundreds of seniors depend on the center for meals and daytime care.
Well, this next story, this is probably something a lot of you might be curious about. It's a question that many Beaver fans are asking, and the deadline for Wyandotte County to finalize a construction start time is today. Now, this is a look at video from when they held a groundbreaking for that. Now, leaders, they're now looking to push it back to October 1st, and this would delay the grand opening even further. So it would take around 2 years to build once construction begins, but leaders are expected to make the decision at tonight's council meeting. And so in Virginia, in a market that I used to work in, they just opened their first Buc-ee's over there, and people were like camping outside and everything. I've never been to a Buc-ee's. Have you?
It is amazing. I love Buc-ee's. I love the food there. It's just the experience.
Yeah.
And I know when I went for the first time last year in Colorado, this little girl was actually having a birthday party there. Wow. It's literally just the experience, and I
Oh
think
my
that's why
goodness.
so many people are excited about Buc-ee's making its way here.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, you just have to go and you have to try it all out. You have to go around the whole store because it's huge.
Oh my goodness.
And I know, yeah.
I'll have to find one. I don't even know where to find a Buc-ee's. That's why they have to go ahead and make a decision so they can have it here.
Exactly. Alrighty, so we are still waiting for that press conference to get underway. We are going to take a quick break, but as soon as we see city officials take to the podium, we will bring you this press conference live. Right now, we are going to take a quick break, though. Welcome back into the live desk. In just 314 days, all eyes will be on our community for the 2026 World Cup as preparations continue across the metro. KCPD says it is missing key funds that would help keep you safe. KCTV5's Grace Smith has more.
The countdown is on as local, state, and federal authorities work behind the scenes to get ready to be center stage.
As we draw near to this exciting and massive event, we have two key areas of concern.
KCPD Chief Stacey Graves on Capitol Hill a week ago, where she brought up concerns about the state of funding and drones ahead of the World Cup.
To date, the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department has not received any federal funding toward the planning and preparation for the 2026 World Cup.
She says they've submitted a budget request for personnel and equipment costs, but they weren't told when they get that money, which is set aside in President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill.
This puts host cities in a compressed timeline to procure equipment, train members for usage, and deploy the equipment in time for FIFA.
All right, we're going to tune in now to Mayor Quentin Lucas as he's speaking about the KC Streetcar.
We are excited to be here today. Recently, you heard the announcement of the opening of the new Kansas City streetcar line that extends down to UMKC. That will be October 24th, 2025. In addition to that, we are looking at how we can make sure both that vehicular, pedestrian, bicycle, and streetcar traffics through our city as efficiently and effectively as possible. Several years ago, myself, Councilmember Bunch, and our colleagues on the City Council we're able to introduce a resolution relating to direction for the streetcar line, Tom and others, to investigate ways that we could have a transit-only lane on the streetcar. There are a lot of different reasons to have a transit-only lane, a streetcar-only lane on the streetcar. And the main reason for that is so that we can make sure that the streetcar, as it's going from downtown Kansas City, where we've seen the streetcars travel with automobiles, can actually have a more efficient, a faster ride as it goes towards the plaza area. That was the goal, and we're seeing it delivered exceptionally well by the Kansas City Streetcar Authority in collaboration with Kansas City Public Works, the City of Kansas City, and so many others. And so I want to say thank you to everyone who had something to do with this project. In sum, what we're trying to do is move efficiently and effectively through Kansas City. We're trying to make sure that this is a line that doesn't get stuck behind automobile traffic as you're going throughout. You see the directions here, and the other important part for all of you to know is that we'll be testing it out. We'll be learning more over the months ahead, but enforcement starts when the streetcar line opens, and that is October 24th. So enforcement starts in October. In the meantime, try to test out doing it the right way. Drive in the vehicular lanes, make sure the streetcars, which are being tested now, have the ability to move smoothly and quickly through the city, and then pretty soon all of us will be able to catch a ride from UMKC, ultimately down to the riverfront. Another exciting part of how we deliver outstanding services, basic services, here in Kansas City. To tell us more about this transformative change here through much of his district, a little bit of the 6th, is the 4th District at Large, Councilman Chris Monroe.
Good morning. It's an exciting point to be at. We're getting close. October 24th is going to be here before we know it. You heard the mayor talk about some of the important new rules of the road that folks are going to experience while driving up and down the Main Street. I will tell you, my wife and I have had many spirited debates on what some of the new lines mean as we've driven up and down Main Street. As I've come to find out, she's been right most of the time, but it was a reminder of why it's so important that we work hard to get information out for folks so that when everything is up and running, we are creating a very safe environment for all that is involved. The streetcar has served more than 15 million passengers since 2016, and these transit-only lanes will ensure that they continue to have a safe route. It will ensure that our operators continue to have a safe route. These are hard-working union folks, and we want them to be able to go home at the end of the day, and so safety is a top priority. Additionally, in addition to safety, these lanes are expected to keep the streetcar schedule more consistent on time with fewer disruptions, and so there are built-in efficiencies with everyone playing by the rules and following how this needs to go. So remember to keep your cars out of the red bars. And it is my honor to introduce 6th District Councilwoman Andrea Boo.
Thank you. As Councilman Reyes said, I am Councilwoman Andrea Boo. I represent the 6th District. This new streetcar, as the mayor said, does travel from the 4th District to the 6th District. And then the extension strengthens the connectivity from downtown to Midtown, the Plaza, and UMKC. These dedicated lanes ensure that residents, workers, students, and tourists have safe access to these areas. And safety is what it's all about. These transit-only lanes also improve pedestrian safety. So with that, I'm going to introduce my colleague from the 6th District, Councilman Jonathan Duncan.
This streetcar line is a generational investment, not only for tourists, as Councilwoman Boo said, but for our residents. And ensuring that we have dedicated lanes for the streetcar ensures that this isn't a tourist function. This is actually something that you can use to get to work, to get to school, to ensure that you can make your date here at Regaza. So we're excited about these transit-only lanes. We're excited about this generational investment for our people. And this is a broader effort to reclaim our streets, both for pedestrian safety and for mass transit, which is greener for the environment and easier on the pocketbook for our residents. I'm excited about this, and I know somebody else is very excited about this, and that is our city manager, Mario Vasquez.
Good morning, everyone. Mario Vasquez, city manager. Anyone who knows me knows that I have a passion for infrastructure. I have a passion for improvement, and this is by far one of the most exciting things that I've lived through in my time in Kansas City. The last time I had this much excitement was when Union Station opened up, and that too was an exciting moment. That was a great effort, collaboration, and this is it. This is the exact same thing, you know, working together, support from the public, support from our elected officials, over several cycles, right? Not just this mayor, prior mayors. This council has supported this this project. Prior councils have as well. And I think that's just indicative of the long-term view that we have in making our city better. And for sure, this project is going to make Kansas City and Midtown better for the long term. I want to thank all of the parties that have worked on this project for the last several years on this Main Streetcar extension. The Streetcar Authority, the Area Transportation Authority, Downtown Transportation Development District, all of those have been partners in getting this project to fruition. I also want to thank the public and the businesses around Main Street. It's been several years of disruption, a lot of pain, but I think that the end result is going to bear fruit, and we're all going to be proud of it. So again, I think we all understand the need and importance of having the dedicated lanes. It's going to improve traffic, improve the flow of the vehicle of the transit vehicles flowing through the corridor. And so when it does come to light, please respect the markings that are online, and let's make sure this works for the future. So thank you all. I want to introduce now Councilman Eric Bunch. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. This is a pretty exciting time. This is something that a few of us thought of a few years ago and said, you know, maybe Main Street as our new streetcar corridor should include some transit-only lanes. And so I am so excited to see this new red paint. Well, I probably shouldn't call it paint. The engineers would get really upset with me. But it is really impressive work to change this design in midstream while the thing was under construction. Was no easy task. And so for those reasons, it's especially exciting and I think rewarding in the end, because we're going to have a streetcar that's going to function better. We're going to have sidewalks that feel safer because there's this nice buffer between the fast-moving traffic. And I think it just adds a touch of distinction as well. It creates a sense of order and place here. So I'm really excited to have this. I'm really excited to have been a small part in this. I'm not sure who I'm introducing next. I might be the last one. But no, it is my partner in crime on this whole idea. Actually, perhaps deserves the credit for the idea from the get-go. You know, Tom and I, who's going to speak here in just a second, we're fortunate enough to know each other for some time. But when I think Tom came to me and said, why don't we think about having some transit-only lanes here, and let's make the streetcar, let's capitalize on this while we can, and make some improvements over the lessons learned at the starter line. So a huge debt of gratitude to the Streetcar Authority under the leadership of Tom Guerin, and so I'm really happy to introduce him to come up and join us here. So thank you so much. Thanks, everyone.
Good morning. Thank you, Councilman, and thank you, Mayor, and really Council, for leaning into public transit. This resolution and ordinance that was passed by City Council, spearheaded by Councilman Bunch and the Mayor, really is, it's exciting. This is exciting. Really is indication of forward thinking, evolving the design, and I could say Kansas City is setting a high bar across the country and not being satisfied with necessarily the streetcar of yesterday, but thinking of the future. And the transit-only lanes here, as was mentioned, are going to allow us to do that more effectively, to move people up and down Main Street, and not just benefit streetcar passengers, obviously, with time to travel, but as the councilman said, improving the sidewalk condition, making the street more walkable, more livable for all. So if you see red, think transit only. I want to call out a few specific details. Obviously, the big red blocks of paint are transit only zones. That's transit only. We do have other zones like these piano keys here that designate transition zones. Those transition zones allow people to turn right into parking lots and to businesses on the streets, up and down Main Street. So the goal wasn't to limit access or restrict access for business. It was to do both things, to retain access, but also prioritize streetcar, minimize blockages and disruptions. We know what people care about are timely, reliable service, and this action and improvement that's supported by council is going to allow us to do that. The last thing I would say is we have great public education materials like this available on the city website and the streetcar website. We have a video. We encourage you all to look at it to explain what we're doing here, as well as fact sheets and other information. We will be supporting an aggressive public education campaign over the next 3 months prior to opening, and with close coordination with Kansas City Police Department, and obviously starting enforcement thereafter. So with that, I'll stop talking, and I think we're going to go ahead and open it up to questions if you'll have.
Yeah, what metrics are you guys going to use to just kind of monitor and track the effectiveness of these?
So the question was, what are we going to do to measure the effectiveness of the transit only? Right now, obviously, we're testing service on Main Street. We're testing schedules and reliability and run times. And so we're able to monitor very closely the speeds, the average speeds, and clearly we're going to care about the reliability of the schedule. And so we have detailed metrics we collect daily on that, as well as ridership, right? Where are people riding? Where are they getting on and getting off? What are the things we can do to improve service to leverage the benefits of this generational investment for all of Midtown and Kansas City? So we'll be actively monitoring, and like a lot of things, we evolve. So we'll find things when we start and we open service that need to be improved, and we've had a great partnership with Public Works in being creative and thinking about how do we adapt the system over time to learn based on what we observe and to make this as good as it can possibly be.
Even with a long public education campaign, people are going to be in their cars on the street. How rigorously off the top on October 24th will be one police enforcing the traffic laws around here? How much forgiveness will there be, if any?
Look, the goal is never actually enforcement, it's deterrence from those who would be speeding through, those who would be disrespecting the lanes. And so part of why we're having this conversation now is because we want to make sure, one, that people know, they know what the red on the streets means, and frankly that it's largely education. So our view over the next 3 months is certainly to provide that education to folks. And then once you see enforcement, we won't say that there will not be any enforcement because this will be a rule, just like we see regularly in traffic enforcement. But the way the KCPD often deploys is to make sure that you're really trying to get people to slow down and respect the traffic rules wherever it is. The goal of the streetcar, in some ways, as we've seen today, is make sure that it's not just expansion for the streetcar line itself or vehicular traffic, but those of us walking. Councilman Ray and I have, and Councilman Bunch, have fairly young children, right? All of us trying to make sure that this is a place where all users can feel more welcome. And I think you'll see enforcement around those types of activities, those intersections where we hear concerns and see them, and that's what our goal will be ultimately as it's all set up.
And what expectations do you have about what vehicle traffic, how that's going to change up and down Main Street once this is over?
You know, if we're ready for a longer term discussion, I know sometimes people critique the city for what we call traffic calming. But what I call it is saving lives and making sure that it is easier for people to engage with the Midtown area of Kansas City, eventually the plaza and downtown. So for us, traffic calming will mean that people are going at slower speeds down Main Street in Kansas City. Although it's a lot of lanes, we don't want a 6-lane highway where someone's trying to walk across the street to Regaza restaurant, someone's trying to do work or take their kids to school. And by the way, we have several schools along the streetcar line as well. And so our goal is to see long-term slower speeds, to find a more attractive space for those who are looking to go through on foot, bicycle, any other forms, and then more than anything to make sure that there is a positive environment for the streetcars, vehicular traffic, and beyond. It is a fundamental change for Kansas City and Main Street, for any of us who grew up here, but we believe it's one that will be an efficient and effective one for everyone.
Good morning, everybody. It's Bill Hurlbrink with KCTV5 News. This morning, we are back with Bill's weekend picks here for the very last day of July. Can you believe that the weekend is, the weekend's almost here, number one, yes, but also the end of the month is here. It is almost August 2025. Where did July go? Well, it's almost over with. And you know what? We've got a lot of nice cooler weather moving in here for the weekend. It is going to be a great weekend to get outdoors and spend some time outside. And what better way to do that than spending some time out at the fair? There's still a couple of county fairs ongoing here on the Kansas side. We've got the Johnson County Fair and the Leavenworth County Fair. Let's go ahead and start with our fine friends in Leavenworth County. They have a lot happening this weekend. Actually, it already started out there. This is in Tonganoxie, Kansas, just west of 40 Highway on K16 is where those fairgrounds are at. Now, tonight is the rodeo out there. Gates open at 6. It gets underway at 7 o'clock. There's bull riding, calf roping, team roping, barrel racing, brock riding, and more. And then tomorrow at 1 o'clock, they have my personal favorite, the pie baking contest. Some delicious food on your Friday afternoon. And then tomorrow night, they have the Monster Bus Paintball. If you haven't done this before, this is something crazy. You can shoot zombies with paintballs while riding in a monster truck school bus. Sign me up. It's also armband night at the carnival, and then mutton busting and mini bull riding gets underway at 7. Saturday is the horse show and bull riding and mutton busting finals. If you want to get the complete listings for all of that, all you have to do is go online to the website. It's leavenworthcountyfair.com. They've got the schedule, they've got pictures, they've got events. Anything you need to see about that can be found up there. Now, again, the other one we mentioned is the Johnson County Fair. That gets underway this weekend as well. Actually, it's underway already. And it is going to be happening. Oops, that's the wrong video. Oh, there it is. My bad. Okay, here's the right video. That's the right video. So the Johnson County Fair is down in Gardner, Kansas. Tonight they've got the Gold Productions Rodeo. Tomorrow is a night of cover bands of some classic tunes. They have the Steve Miller Experience, Creedence Clearwater KC, and the John Cougar Project. Then Saturday night, the country music arrives in full swing with Casey Donahue, the Chasing Dreams Tour featuring Hayden Kaufman, Colby Swift, and Tim Knoll. But, I mean, come on. You can see just walking down that midway right there, what is better than going to a county fair and getting some funnel cake, some kettle corn, some cotton candy. You go to the carnival, you spend way too much money trying to win a 50-cent stuffed animal for your special person. It's going to be a great time. So again, a couple of county fairs that you can check out this weekend. The Leavenworth County Fair out in Tonganoxie and the Johnson County Fair continuing down I-35 in what's it called? Gardner, Kansas. Yeah, so make sure you go check that out. Also happening this weekend in downtown, I expect you're going to see a lot of families and their kids out there because there's a big concert coming to T-Mobile Center on Saturday. It's going to be filled with those families and their kids because it's the Descendants Zombies World Collide Tour. They're going to be out there singing and performing all of the music from Disney's Descendants and Zombies movie franchise. I've heard a ton about this from my youngest, so I don't know if we'll be out there or not, but we very well might be. So that's something you guys can go check out if that is something that your kids want to. You can go on to Ticketmaster.com. There's still tickets available for that one. Maybe music isn't your thing. Maybe you want to go laugh. Well, we can do that as well. The Funny Bone KC has Bill Bellamy there. He's going to be there on Friday and Saturday nights. And, of course, you know Bill Bellamy from HBO's Def Comedy Jam. He coined the phrase booty call. There's tons of jokes we can make about Bill's weekend picks in that phrase, but we're not going to make them right now because that would be inappropriate. Now, of course, Bill Bellamy, he was a VJ on MTV, has appeared in tons of TV shows and movies. Tickets are $40 to $50 if you want to go check that out. And, of course, the Funny Bone is a comedy club and a restaurant, so you can go get your whole weekend set up right there. Again, he is playing on Friday and Saturday night. Maybe if you want to go back and check out some throwback rock tunes, we can do that as well at the self-proclaimed best outdoor music venue in Kansas City. Grinders, they are hosting the Good Intentions Tour. That's featuring Toad the Wet Sprocket, Semisonic, and Sixpence None the Richer. So, Toad the Wet Sprocket, Semisonic, you know them from their song Closing Time from about 25 years ago. And then Sixpence None the Richer, they sang Kiss Me and a couple other jams from back in the day. But they are playing on Saturday. doors open at 6. You want to get tickets to that, you can go to Grindr's website. I believe that's grinderskc.com. That'll take you over to eTix, and you can get your tickets to go see that tour, again featuring Semisonic and Sixpence None the Richer and Toad the Wet Sprocket. Also happening this weekend, all weekend long, down in the West Bottoms, it is Bark in the Bottoms this weekend. So you can head on down there, and they've got that event going on. This is just basically an opportunity for take your dog down to the West Bottoms. You can get your steps in, the dogs can get a nice walk in, and you can go check out a lot of the really fun stores in the West Bottoms district, specifically the ones that are right underneath the 12th Street Bridge. So those are right by the haunted houses. So you're asked to keep your dogs leashed at this event. So if you bring them out, keep them leashed, keep them in maybe their carrier or something. But there's so many cool stores down there in that area. Many of them are going to have a lot of water bottles and treats set up for your dogs. So again, this is Barks in the Bottoms. It's happening all this weekend. You can get that there and check it out. There's also even, I'm told, some fun photo opportunities. So if you want to get some pictures of man's best friend, this is a great time to do that as well. Again, Barks in the Bottoms runs tomorrow through Sunday. And again, all dogs are welcome. Just make sure you keep them on a leash as you head down to the West Bottoms this weekend. Also, coming up on Saturday, they are fresh off of their... Oh no, the website didn't load. Well, they're fresh off being on TripAdvisor's picks of some of the best attractions in the world. The KC Gangster Tour is going to run on Saturday the 2nd, and there's still a few availabilities open for their 2 o'clock tour. The first two are completely sold out already. So if you want to come learn about maybe like the Nick Savella crime family here in Kansas City that used to operate the Skim on the Vegas casinos, or maybe learn about the crime activity that happened in the River Key area down to the Union Station area, this is the tour to you. Now, I haven't had the chance to go on this tour yet, but I bet a lot of those guys will be included on it. And again, tickets on this one, $35. You can find more information on the operator's website, which is the Kansas City Transportation Group. Just Google that, and it pops up KC Gangster Tour up in the upper right-hand corner. And finally, before we leave you today, we can't be forgetting the Kansas City Chiefs, because the rest of our sports teams are out of town here this weekend. The Royals are headed up to Toronto to take on the Blue Jays. Of course, you can watch that game right here on Friday night, tomorrow night on KCTV. It happens at 6:07. The KC Current are out of town as well. But the Chiefs, of course, they have training camp up in St. Joe this weekend. Reminder, they are off today, which is why we don't have any of the press conferences or anything here streaming on KCTV 5+. But tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, the practices all get underway at 9:15 in the morning. Tomorrow, you can go get autographs from some of the defensive backs, so maybe Trent McDuffie will be signing tomorrow. And then on Saturday and Sunday, keep in mind it's $6 per person to get in to Chiefs training camp on both of those days, but there'll be full team autographs. So if you want to try to score that Pat Mahomes autograph, maybe that Travis Kelce autograph, maybe that Creed Humphreys autograph, you got to get up there tomorrow and Sunday to try to get those. Just remember, $6 to get in for both of those. And then get ready, because can you believe it? Preseason Chiefs football is only about a week away. Saturday, August the 9th, they're going to be taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Football is back. It's about here. The Chiefs are about to make it to the Super Bowl 4 times in a row. I can feel it in my blood. Can't wait for it. It's a busy weekend here, but the best part about it is this forecast for this weekend. It is just fantastic out there. I cannot believe the temperatures that we have in store. It's fantastic. I mean, we're talking about low temperatures on Saturday morning in the upper 50s. It's feeling like October out there. For more on your forecast, we're going to bring in First Warn 5 meteorologist Miss Melissa Meter.
I've got some fun activities that are outside for you. We're going to start on Friday. Friday, of course, is the first day of August. I talked a little bit about First Fridays. Something that goes along with First Fridays is also Barks in the Bottoms. Now, they usually have fun things in the West Bottoms, but this month's theme is Barks, so you can bring your dog with you to do some shopping. This is from 9 to 5 on Friday. Take a look at these temperatures. Upper 60s at 9 a.m. when you get out there, mid 70s from noon to 3 o'clock, and then the upper 70s by 5. Partly cloudy conditions are expected throughout the entirety of the day, but overall, it's got a little bit more of a fall feel to it. Now, another fall feel that I've got for you is also movie night on the lawn on Saturday. Now, this type of weather that we're going to see on Saturday, on Friday,
Gives a little bit like late September. It reminds me of a bonfire. Reminds me of being outside later in the evening, maybe with a bonfire and a little bit of a blanket wrapped up. And you could do that, just not the bonfire, but you could wrap yourself up in a blanket for a movie night on the lawn. That is at Legends. This is going to start at 7. I've got some fun activities that are outside for you. We're going to start on Friday. Friday, of course, is the first day of August. I talked a little bit about First Fridays. Something that goes along with First Fridays is also Barks in the Bottoms. Now, they usually have fun things in the West Bottoms, but this month's theme is bark, so you can bring your dog with you to do some shopping. This is from 9 to 5 on Friday. Take a look at these temperatures. Upper 60s at 9 a.m. when you get out there, mid 70s from noon to 3 o'clock, and then the upper 70s by 5. Partly cloudy conditions are expected throughout the entirety of the day, but overall, it's got a little bit more of a fall feel to it. Now, another fall feel that I've got for you is also